Hey, fellow babies, and welcome to the show that won the Oscar for our infomercial on how to turn cocktail weenies into sexual pleasure. It's 42 minutes later.
If I had known I was on that show, I'd have gotten the $700 suit. I didn't realize.
Oh, hey, you know, there's something in it for everyone, right? You got to be aware of your audience and make sure that you take care of everyone.
Yep. Oh, how you doing?
Well, I'm still in shock over some of the things we covered, and we're not done yet. So, round two, fight.
Round two. There isn't a lot left, and some of it I'm just like after doing that. There's like it's everything else is going to be, but there's one or two that I did want to hit. But first, I'll say I forgot to mention with the map one.
Yeah,
the way that ended up ending was he tweeted out, quote, Alabama was going to be hit or grazed, and then Hurricane Dorian took a different path.
Now, here, we've got some serious high technology here at the Shills, so we can analyze this based on the text of the person's words. So let's throw it into the old honesty meter here. Oh, poor Donald.
Oh.
Sometimes you just can't win for losing when you're all, painted up orange and out on the town.
So the last two that I think that are, and I'm sure I'll remember in one is the Russia. If you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press. So he said that during the debate with Hillary, and he said he wanted Russia to find. Now, that's illegal on any number of fronts. And what's interesting, too, is that Comey found that, in fact, there had been collusion between Trump Jr. and the Russians, except they couldn't be indicted because Trump Jr. was too stupid to realize it was probably illegal. There's a burden that they have to be probably aware that it's probably illegal. They don't have to know for a fact that it's legal. It's probably illegal. And that by him bragging to everybody that he was meeting with the Russians and doing all of this shit that was going to make him absolutely get caught, there was no way he could have formed the criminal intent that he was like, I'm going to go break the law because it was too stupid. So it's just like, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't.
Your Honor, this man can't tie his own fucking shoes. Yeah, here's the family reaction.
And then the last one, and this one is just because, again, as someone who has worked on campaigns before, I did not work on the Obama campaign against McCain. I did on the Obama campaign against Hillary, so I worked in the primaries, and but I've met a number of these people, and I've been in orbits with people who are friends with them, and so this stuff matters to me, and it should matter to everybody, even those who. And John McCain, if you followed in the first race against the first W. Bush, before he did that, he was actually much more of a centrist, and was somebody I could actually maybe even vote for. Certainly over a number of people and then after the black baby thing came out and he got attacked in ways that, and people like, how dare you attack a member of your own party this way? And when Bush won the primary, after that, he changed. But here's the point. On July 18th, 2015, Trump appeared at a family leadership summit. I don't know what the fuck he's doing around anything having to do with families. He's paying off hookers for, I shouldn't say hookers, sorry, porn stars. Bribe money, the whole 9 yards. In Iowa, 1 month after he had announced his campaign for president on June 16th. In a one-on-one interview with a CBS pollster, Frank Luntz, Trump was asked about the naval service of then U.S. Senator from Arizona, John McCain, in which Trump responded, "He's not a war hero. He's a war hero because he was captured. I mean, I like people who weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you, sorry, end of sentence there. Now, I do understand the argument he's trying to make. It's stupid, moronic, and insulting. But let's talk about McCain's war record for 1 minute. This is the man he was talking about. McCain, first of all, voluntarily entered the Navy. His father was already in the Navy and I don't know if he was an admiral by that point, but rose to the rank of admiral, and specifically requested a combat duty assignment. So where most of us would have been like, can I get the nice, sweet job? No, he requested a combat duty assignment. He was assigned to the aircraft carrier USS Forstall, flying A4 Skyhawks. His combat duty began in mid-1967 when the Forstall was assigned to a bombing campaign, Operation Rolling Thunder, during the Vietnam War. The Forstall caught on fire, and the fire spread to his plane. He was able to get out barely in time and then ran to another plane that had caught on fire and tried to get that pilot out. As he was dragging the pilot out of that plane, a bomb on the plane exploded and the shrapnel struck McCain in the legs and chest. He could, at that point, have left. He was now wounded and could easily have gone out of the war. Instead, and the fire, by the way, went on to kill 134 sailors. Instead, he volunteered to go back on duty, flying more planes for Operation Rolling Thunder. And he went to the, he volunteered for duty on the Orsky. On October 26th, he was flying his 23rd combat mission when the A4 he was flying was hit by a missile. He ejected. The ejection shattered both his arms and a leg.
Holy!
He landed in the water and couldn't get out from his parachute, so he started to drown. He only had one working arm with which to get out of the water and out from under his parachute. He was instantly captured. They bayoneted him just for giggles. And then took the butt of a rifle and crushed his right shoulder. It's why he was not ever able to raise both arms above his head. He was expected to live, given his injuries, and that he was not getting any medical care. The other Americans he was put in a cell with said that he was probably going to live for about 2 weeks. He was tortured, placed in solitary confinement for 2 years, and then his father, an admiral, was put in command of all U.S. naval forces in Vietnam. The VC loved this because they said, if we release him, we're going to look magnanimous, we're going to look great. So they offered to release him. He said no, unless they released absolutely everybody else that had been taken captive first, and that he would not be released before the others simply because his father was an admiral.
Wow.
This they did not like, so they began torturing him again. He received daily beatings. He was forced to confess and a few other things. He got heat stroke, dysentery, a number of other conditions, and was never fully treated for any of the broken bones, so they had to heal without medical treatment.
Oh.
He was, at the height of it, he was being beaten every 2 hours and nearly died of exhaustion. He was freed 5.5 years after capture.
Holy!
That is the record of John McCain. Donald Trump is also a war hero. Most people don't know this. Well, he wanted to fight, but it turns out he had really fucking bad bone spurs and did not fight in any war or volunteer for anything.
What the fuck is a bone spur?
It's in your heel, like when the bone grows just slightly differently in the heel, and it's usually not even a medical condition.
He's got feet like a pterodactyl?
No, you normally can't even tell without an X-ray. They just cause pain, but it's the easiest excuse to get out of the military, and it's what all rich white men that don't want to, it's bone spurs, and they don't have to.
Right.
So once again,
it's
Trump
like whiplash.
Yeah,
you only have it when you need it, right? You know.
So Trump, when interviewed about the naval service of John McCain, said, quote, "He's not a war hero. He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people who weren't captured, okay? Hate to tell you."
That's unbelievably crap. Holy. Dunk, how's it going?
I think I'm all right. I was just waiting for the old gobshite to shut up.
Well, you were patient. I mean, that could take. I mean, listen. There have been people waiting since conception for me to shut up, and it hasn't happened.
I thought I already had. Can I just fucking after show for a little bit of a chit chat, and all I can hear is blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I wanted to do the McCain thing just because that was just oh my god. I was just when he said that, I was just like, he's got no clue what he's saying, and he doesn't care.
Yeah. No, that's the whole thing. For him, it's all about attack. It's just attack, right? Anything I can, find, right? Oh, but he was captured. I like people that weren't. But
it's just like, well, and the what is it? They're all suckers. I believe he said that. I mean, it was a 4-star general that says he said that, so it's hearsay. But I believe he said that. Well, this suggests he said that.
Nick. Okay, explain this to me if you possibly can, because I've been trying to figure it out, and it's just doing my head in. I can't figure this out. We all know about Trump. We've all had a history of hearing all the bullshit he says, and all the stupid lies he says, and the ridiculous statements he says, and Hannibal Lecter, he's a great, wonderful guy, he's the best guy in the world, he's my friend, all this shit. Why is it that I can't believe that 50% of America are that dumb to actually believe in him? Why is his numbers so high?
That's not true. It's not 50%. It's 50% who can be bothered to vote.
Well, okay, but
that doesn't make it. But thank you. That doesn't make it better.
Obviously, we don't know what the election's going to be this time.
They've interviewed how many like some guy in Tennessee, and he's just well, I like Trump because he's the common man, and you're like, he literally sits on a golden toilet. This is so. At one point, I'm sitting there going, oh shit, they're not that stupid. You think they're that stupid. It's easiest to think they're that stupid. No, it's 2 reasons. The first reason is because he pisses off the liberals, and conservatives got really pissed about Obamacare. They got pissed at the way it got rammed through. They got pissed that they were incapable of stopping it. And Trump had the only qualification that any of them wanted. He pissed off liberals. And that's why the evangelicals went for him too. It's like they're like, oh, Clinton maybe used a cigar to it's questionable. I mean, is cheating us? I mean, I'm asking you, Dick, because I figured you'd know. A cigar.
I'm not a cigar smoker, but I do have a humidor. So what? Well,
I guess it depends on where you stick the humidor. But at any rate.
That was sex. That was sex, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
because I do believe he was playing tickle before he grabbed for the cigar. So
yeah. There was other ones, but there was the cigar ones that became public first. And then Trump can do all this stuff and they don't care. And the reason is because he pisses off the liberals, and they just got to the point where they hate liberals so much that's the number one requirement. Yeah. The second thing is, I think he's got this hyper masculine, toxic masculinity attitude that I think they feel empowers him. So I did a rant, which probably the two of you I should not have mentioned, because I'm not sure the two of you should either ever hear. Where I basically said that the reason they voted for him was because he acted as a surrogate cock for all the, everybody short of the Mason-Dixon line, who felt like, well, I'm not as smart as the people in the ivory tower, but I don't want to admit that it gets to me. Right. So let's just go for some, overwhelming asshole.
I got it then. So golden shitter, surrogate cock, he gets the Golden Cock Award.
Well, there you go. Wait a minute. I was the one talking at the time, so that was...
No, we gave it to who you were talking about, not.
Okay, you get a special one. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll put a beard on one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get a clean one.
Oh, that's funny. Better send Buck Chuck on a run there. I need some pizza. So, there was a couple other memes here. I've been slowly showing them. There's this one that was funny. For anyone who missed the debate, here's the summary. She's mopping up Trump. I thought that was a good one. We got to show the cat again. What do you guys think in the live chat? Here, I'll wait 5 seconds for the delay for the live. But
I was watching the show and I had to pause it to go and show everybody the cat.
That's really
it's the funniest thing ever. The cat. So yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Here. Okay, we'll play it. Here comes the cat.
A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Now they should put that out as a Democratic Party advert.
Totally.
there you go. I'm gonna.
All you'd have to do is you could do it, Dunk. Take the image on the TV and shift it a bit so he hits Trump right in the fucking face.
I sent you 2 on Discord, Dick.
Okay, cool. Here. Oh, yes. Okay, here. Let me get these. Oh, no. Don't do that. I want to. Okay. Oh, for God's sake.
It always sucks. It always sucks trying to get that shit to go. It's like,
yeah.
Getting media in real time is oh my God, it sucks.
Okay, here we go. Now, I don't. It says sometimes it'll just open in the browser and I can play it, and other times, not so much. And so let me see here. See if I can get this to work right. Oh God, no! I hate it when it does this. Okay, it'll take a second. Sorry.
No worries. Take your time. So, he invented an attack on Sweden. That was fun.
That's normal.
Yeah,
please tell us, Nick. Please tell us. Go on, Nick. Tell us more.
Yes, I know you're dying to hear it, Dunk. During a tirade,
it's time to sort of sit out.
During a tirade against illegal immigrants, Trump suggested that there had been a terrorist attack in Sweden the previous night as a result of Sweden taking in all their illegal immigrants. He said, look at what happened last night in Sweden. Sweden, who would have believed it? Sweden. This caused a small international panic in Sweden. Like, what the fuck is going on? Nobody told us we got hit. Then they realized it was Donald Trump, and it turned into a huge joke. Meanwhile, in the U.S., it caused a small panic because they're like, why did nobody tell us that Sweden has been hit? Oh, my
God. That guy, man. Okay, I got these lined up and ready here. We should be able to hear them at all. So right. I'm going to start with Puppy. Here we go.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
And then, of course,
if only they did that with the dog's mouth moving up and down as Trump.
That would have been awesome.
Jaw dropping like a cape.
Oh, and then
we're the sauce on your steak, we're the cheese in your cake. We put the spring in Springfield.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the pets in Springfield.
Oh, cue the copyright claim in 5, 4, 3. Oh well.
Just sometimes the internet is the most amazing place.
Yeah. They're eating the cat. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was really well done. It's like complete, like auto-tuned or whatever. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah. That was all slowed down, and actually, you could even do that.
Wasn't Trump in the Simpsons at one point?
Yeah, I think so. Wasn't he on an episode?
Yeah, so they could have grabbed grabbed a Simpsons Trump and put him in there.
Oh, you could.
Come on, guys. Yeah. Oh, I fucking be bothered.
Yeah.
So because he said all this, now Springfield, Ohio has been getting bomb threats and
Yes.
they had to evacuate schools, public buildings, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got a little thing on that here. Where is it? Oh, for God's sakes, I got so many things open on this idiot, like his war on soup. Remember the thing? Or what about
Jesus, I forgot about that.
Post Hurricane Florence, North Carolina? Trump was there, and he went to see a guy who had this big sailing yacht crash in his yard, and Trump says, "Well, at least you got a nice boat out of it."
Oh, Jesus. I'm surprised he didn't say the best thing to do for like what is it? Hurricane is inject sandbags into your arm. Just take sand and just start injecting it. It'll be fine.
Just air. Just inflate yourself.
Yeah. Oh shit! I think I closed it by accident.
Inject air.
There's just too many, Oh man. So let's go. Let's turn to the viewers as well. Throw in the live chat what your favorite Donald Trump screw up was. I bet there'll be a few that we didn't cover. There's gotta be,
Oh God, there's yeah.
I gotta have
and I mean Dunk's not without a point, which is even with the really lame excuses that I gave, it's still really hard to imagine that anybody. It's just I don't.
No, I don't get the whole thing. I mean, even if you dropped out of school in like grade 8, you learned enough until grade 8 to know that he's a charlatan and has nothing to do with anybody except rich folk who can, help him be more rich and stuff. That's all he cares about.
I didn't put this in my thing because I figured I had enough, but I guess at some point Syria was getting into it with Iran, and Trump sent a handwritten letter to whoever it is in charge of Syria at the time. I don't remember, but it was handwritten, and he said, let's make a deal, because we can make a huge deal. It'll be the biggest deal ever, and when we don't, history will remember you as an evil person if you do this. And the handwriting, the analysis of the speech was that it was at the 3rd grade level in terms of like comprehension and word usage. I was just like, really? And you could read it and you're saying, yeah, because he doesn't even like use the specifics of what the events were. He was just like, I know terrible things have happened, but we can fix it if we work together. And, it's just like, this does sound like a 3-year-old wrote this.
But he talks like a child. I've got the best dad. My dad's better than yours.
Yeah.
My dad could beat up your dad. And my dad's best at football. He's the best. And he's always going to be the best. And, it's just like, he just talks like that.
Yeah, it's that whole my dad could beat up your dad thing, Yeah, we got a big super chat in. $25 from Cypher there. Hey guys, and duck Trump. And I do believe it says Slava Ukraine. Heroyam Slava. Good shout out. Good super chat here. A little alarm. Nick, just so you know, that police siren was not from my computer on the show. That's in your backyard.
Again?
Yeah, I think Trump sent somebody over to talk to you. He's like, you were the majority of that one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was me. No, if Trump sends somebody to my house, they'd be invading Switzerland.
Yeah, he was going to send somebody to see me, but then the person was like, no, they legalized weed up there and nobody makes sense anymore. It's like Long Beach. I'm not going there. And yeah.
Oh, dear Lord. Well, somebody had said about Boris Johnson, we took a look at America and we're just like, hold my beer. It's like Boris Johnson was bad, but still, I'm sorry in terms of just my president sucks worse than your prime minister. I'm just saying.
Dude, I remember when Boris Johnson was a guest on Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson and he drove the car and stuff. And he's just this bumbling buffoon. He seems like the kind of guy that has 7 or 8 vodkas for lunch, that kind of thing, right? And I remember he was the mayor of London, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, how does such a bumbling buffoon become mayor? And then one day I hear he's got the high office now. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Anybody in Ontario knows what I'm talking about. It's like giving one of the Fords the prime minister's seat, What are they going to do? Have cocaine parties in there? Jesus.
I mean, he was actually quite intelligent, but he did have this air of just, bumbling fool.
Yeah.
Posh bumbling fool. But he did have an endearing quality about him.
Yeah, I did like him. I did. Yeah.
Didn't they say that was actually an act, that was kind of the point, was he wanted to be underestimated, and so he just did that so that he always made sure his head.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that lays down and rolls down a hill because it's easier, right? Just but yeah, he was, and when he first came on as Top Gear guest, he wasn't very popular. But by the time he left, the crowd had warmed to him because he is kind of a cool guy. He's just also an idiot. He's not the person you trust when they say, no, I've only had a couple. I could drive us all home. Yeah, no. You're hammered, buddy. But, yeah.
So someone in your live chat said, okay, so Boris was a disappointment. He did a great job in London, but he totally screwed up as PM. And I've heard that comment before. And I'm curious if there's did the power go to his head? He just wasn't capable of, I'm not assuming that's even accurate.
He, as I understand it, as a Canadian, so don't get me wrong here, but he had an actual easy time as mayor looking cool because he was the one that came in and got those stupid bendy buses off the road and a few other things that made everybody go, yeah, Boris, right?
Well, and now he was...
No, wasn't the bendy buses, that was Boris put them in.
No, it was he campaigned on getting them gone because I remember on Top Gear, Clarkson made a big deal out of it. He's been in office 6 weeks. Why are those things still on the goddamn road? And he was flipping out.
Well, why did they call them Boris buses then? I don't know.
Maybe he was trying to be mayor guy and got them in, and then they were unpopular, so he campaigned on getting them out, right? Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me. British politics.
Yeah, it's like Brexit. It's now trying to we'll find a way back in.
You guys voting on Brexit was as dumb as Nick and company voting Trump in the first time around. Sorry,
but well, I didn't really have much of a choice. There was no referendum about do you want to vote for Brexit?
Really, I thought you guys had a national referendum on that.
No, but there wasn't a referendum to decide whether or not we should have a referendum.
Oh, I see. Right,
Yeah,
it's like sacking the people that made the credits, and then you sack the other ones. Okay. Why do you guys have to do everything like Monty Python? Why?
That's just the British way, Ministry of Study Walks and all that.
Oh, speaking of which, remember the time that Trump walked in front of the Queen and she gave him that evil glare?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
She should have taken his head off.
I'm surprised she didn't grab that cane of hers because y'all know that there's like a lightsaber hidden inside of it in case she had to deal with somebody, right? She should have just beheaded him right on the spot.
Off with his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the theory that he just thought it was like a ceremonial position. The president was just like, you don't actually make decisions or do anything. You just show up and hand out hamburgers, hand out, good McDonald's.
Yeah.
I bet you that's one thing the Queen hasn't had.
Yeah.
Is a McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, she has if she's been to the White House.
Yeah. Chris Lundy in the chat. Darth Elizabeth. Yeah, she should have gone full Sith on his ass, and like Yoda, done all that spin around, jump around, and just kicked his head in. That would have been awesome.
I nearly okay. nearly went too far with a joke. Never mind.
There's no such. Okay, hold on a minute here. I have a gag for that.
A, you can never go too far. B, if I'm gonna get busted, it is not gonna be by a guy like that.
No such thing.
No, it was gonna reference the no, never mind, the ear.
No, fine, carry on, keep going, because quite frankly, if you don't go too far, I will, and I'll show you how it's done.
Fair point. I'm still not doing it.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, he's worried he's going to lose his chance of a knighthood.
No, what he's actually thinking is, I could get away with saying it here, but there are people that realize that I have a channel too, and I should probably not.
No, I'm thinking if I said the joke, it's a violation of YouTube terms of services, is what I'm thinking.
My entire existence is. What's the fucking difference? You should see how many emails I get in a month. Oh, we removed your content. Oh, blah, blah, and whatnot.
I'm aware. I'm still not doing it. I don't want the Secret Service knocking on my door.
Whisper it in my ear. Just whisper it in my ear, and I'll do it.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Dunk. I've been waiting to tell you this for so long.
Something's coming up.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. Dick's watching. Never mind.
Here, hold on a minute here. I'll turn off my headphones.
With ears like that, I should be able to go like 3 rooms away and be able to whisper it, and he'll still know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I want to point out something on my set that I always thought was funny. Nobody's ever noticed this, but you see right there, there's like, it's like 2 pieces of string holding up a little square thing or whatever. That is a Western, Texas style or whatever, bolo tie with the strings that come through. Mm-hmm. And it's got native art on the thing that the strings go through. And I can't reconcile Western bolo tie and native art because I don't.
Yeah, wait a minute. That didn't even cry out.
I can't get
a little contradictory.
Yeah, it's all kinds of weird. That's why I have it, because I saw it at a store once and I was like, this is so screwed up. I have to keep it.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
Check the back of it. See if it says made in China.
No, it was handmade in my town, actually. It's very strange. I thought that was odd. But I like, if there's an underlying message to it, I like what it is, right? But yeah, it's a funny thing.
So my dad worked at a ranch when he was younger. And he was in Colorado, and this was at a time, he was a kid. And one of the things that he liked to do is there would always be people who'd come by and visit the ranch, and they were just they're just like tourists, whatever. And people could stay at the ranch and go out and go with the horses and see what it's like to be cowboys or whatever. So one day he just says, well, this isn't really the legit experience. So he gets a couple pistols, goes out with his buddies. And as they're all out taking a carriage ride through the Colorado wilderness, puts on a bandana and he goes and he robs the tourists.
Oh my God.
Goes up, takes out the gun, give us all your money, takes all the money. And
what an authentic experience.
Well, exactly. This is what I think. I don't think, well, it turns out the owner of the ranch did not concur with that assessment. Now, I think that's an act of genius. I think that people should pay extra for the robbery part of the experience. It's almost like Total Recall, right? You get to choose what you're gonna. But now when they came back, he was like, "Here's all your stuff back." And they're like, "Wait, how did you get this?" So he's like, "Well, we're the ones who robbed you." and one of them must have not appreciated it because someone told the owner.
Oh,
who also did not appreciate it. And it may have been all of them that told the owner. I don't know, or I don't think anybody would have snitched because I think they all had a good sense of humor about it. But nonetheless, he was not invited back. So if I had that hanging on my that would be what it would be reminding me of.
Yeah.
My father and his very brief stint as a ranch hand.
Well, he may not have been invited back, but he should have gone back on his own.
You know what?
Just kept robbing them. Yeah.
If he were dedicated to the craft, you'd think, but you know.
Yeah. So I guess you didn't learn the lesson of sticking to something and seeing it through on that one, did you?
Well, he didn't tell me, he didn't give me specifics, but I got the impression, because they did have real firearms there and they had to contend with bears and other things.
Yeah.
And I got the impression that it was explained to him that if he returned, he might be mistaken for a bear.
I gotta say, they missed a deal here because they could have had a tour package or whatever, but then the ultra tour package where you get robbed, but you get your shit back after, and you don't know that it's fake. And I mean, I think they missed the boat here, right?
I agree.
Yeah,
I think if he looks anything like you, then yes, he could be mistaken as a bear.
A Bernstein bear.
Well, this is, believe me, this is so. I shaved completely everything off about 4 hours before the show, and this is what's happened now. And so, like right before going live, I just do this to make it look Kemp. But basically, I'm going to look like Cousin It. I
thought you were like a bear with a little bit of alopecia.
Just enough to see through.
Yeah. Just enough for that humanist.
That's actually why I wear the jacket, is so that people don't see, because with just a shirt, you'd be able to just see. So I wear the coat over it. Nobody knows. It's great. It's great. First of all, at Halloween, I don't need a costume. Second of all, when the neighbors are playing music too loudly, it's like, I just knock on the door and they run screaming, and then it's like usually for a couple of days. And it's just nice. You got no neighbors for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And if it's fun too, because the mailman's used to just seeing a dog. When it comes to my house, he gets a special treat.
I have issues with the mailman because fuck, my son looks like him. Just... But that's for an after show. I think I even watched the conception on Pornhub one time. I just
I cannot imagine the number of hours of therapy. Now I'm starting to think that's why you smoke the weed, is just to try to forget the Pornhub incident.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recover from that. I'm like,
but he saved the link.
Yeah.
It's still in his browser. Yeah, it's just like.
Oh, yeah. Because you know how you normally say, "Oh, son, you made your mother proud." I usually have to end it with, "Well, son, at least you made your mother $1,000."
Well, normally you can go to your children and say, "Yeah, I've actually got a video of your mother giving birth to you." And you go, "Ha. I can go one better."
Yeah.
Well, that was though, actually, that was the other thing my dad did, which was when I turned 18, he handed me a package of condoms and he said, "So that you don't make the same mistake I did." And I said, "Dad, I don't want to sleep with Mom."
Oh, yeah. Or my dad, he gave me some seriously sound advice when I was 13 years old. He said, son, never trust a woman who carries her own condoms, because if she falls in love with you too fast, she's probably already poked a hole in it with a pin. And it really came in, when I got into grade 9, junior high, great French teacher. So, it was sound advice,
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me just look that up, because you mentioned that earlier, and I think that's worth. Can YouTube channels be demonetized by proxy?
Yeah. YouTube is doing facial recognition right now and going, so now we're shadow banning in time as well. Got it.
Oh God. Oh, I told you this. YouTube just fucking. Oh, I'm on your show, so I can say this. YouTube sucks ass.
A lot of ass.
Yeah, you know this story. I told you this one a while back, which was that we were covering a live chase. Okay, the police were going after this car. Yeah, you remember the story?
Yes.
And the guy gets out of the car as it's moving. He's slowed down. It's moving like 5 or 10 miles an hour. He gets out at a run at a gas station, and it goes and it misses. Fortunately, it misses like everything and hits the convenience store, but it missed all the pumps. And he runs, and the police officers tackle him. Yada yada yada. 2 minutes later, YouTube hits me, and they're like, "You've got a copyright strike against your channel." And an actual strike. It's not. They're not. It's just like it's an actual strike. It's not the warning or demonetization. It's a strike.
Let's clarify for the viewers. A copyright claim just means they get the revenue for the AdSense and the advertisements and stuff. But a strike, 3 strikes, and your channel's gone.
And even just one strike, you can't stream live for a week.
Yeah,
right. So they just killed our. We're only like a live news program, so that's not a big deal. Yeah. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out, and they gave me the timestamp, and I was like, "We didn't fucking play any music." I'm like, "YouTube is insane."
Yeah,
we didn't play any copyrighted music, and I go to the timestamp. And it's as soon as the guy opens the door and he's hopping out, he had the fucking radio on,
right,
and the Stones was playing.
Oh, and they're blockers, man. Yeah.
And because there was a body cam that we were getting this off of that one of the fucking officers was wearing, and it picked up the radio station of the fucking bank robber that we were watching. Possibly. And like, yes, we possibly can. Our appeal failed. And it's like, wait, you can't know, really. Yeah. Because it was a strike, they didn't let you cut it. It was just boom. Yeah.
That's right. And that's not right, because you're not doing it on purpose to use their content as a way of making money for yourself. It just happened to be in the coverage. That is incidental and shouldn't count, in my opinion. And this is coming from somebody who worked as a professional musician for years, right? I want musicians to be paid. Not, fake ones, but the real ones, right? But it's not right. That's not right.
Coldplay deserves to be paid, obviously.
Not played, but paid. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I hate them. I fucking hate them.
You've told me so. At least now I know what to get you for your birthday.
Yeah, whiny sack of shit. And who in their right mind would marry a woman who makes candles that smell like her fucking lady garden?
Okay, that was weird. I'll give you that. That was that was creepy, and that was not justifiable. I think that was a bad life decision.
I did a thing for like 3 weeks, dudes, where we had this running gag on the show. We were sponsored by Vag-Away. Did you have guests over? Did they light a Gwyneth Paltrow candle? Well, here, we can get rid of that smell for you.
Well, and I think that it's like in Teen Wolf, like the guy said, here's the 3 rules for life. Don't, never get involved with a woman with a tattoo. And, I think there's so many things that your parents can teach you. And one of them is if she thinks your house should smell like her vagina, it's probably not the woman for you. Or maybe it is. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, it could be. I mean, imagine every time he walks home, he's had a hard day. He opens the door and he's just like, oh, I'm home. It's but then your best friend comes over, and your best friend's like, what's that smell? And then you have the awkward conversation where you've got to like tell like strangers or your parents what the smell is.
This is why he always sounds like he's crying in his music, because literally he is. Like, it probably burns his eyes, even in his home recording studio, right? It's like having a bottle of turpentine open in every room. It's just, oh, that's great.
I'd forgotten all about that. Oh my God.
I remember when that hit the news. I
want to get off.
I couldn't believe that somebody would do that. I mean, I was like, okay, I don't understand the used panty vending machines in Japan, but all right. But candles, I was just, okay, I'll stop because it confuses me to the point where I will, focus in on this. And holy fuck, man, what is wrong with people?
Yeah. Shit. I have no idea. The fact that Trump is even a legit candidate, and one of the things that really pissed me off was I was on a debate show and we were talking about Trump, and this was a year ago or something, and they're like, why are the Democrats worried about Trump? I was like, because he's going to fucking run again. Yeah, he has no chance of winning. I was like, okay, 4 years ago when he started running, what did you say? He has no chance of winning, but this time he really doesn't. Yeah, I'm just like, fuck you, asshole. We have to deal with this now. Yeah. Because I don't know what's wrong with 50% of America, but I know it hasn't been fixed in the last 4 years. So.
Yeah. I mean, even with the debate performance and stuff, if you read a news source that I would consider to be balanced and not left or right, but balanced, the polling that's been done since the debate suggests that no one side has had a big surge in any way. I was
that's
shocked.
Well, I my theory on it. I think I explained this last time. He was due for a bump, and she was due for a bump, and I think they just basically canceled each other out. She was going to get a bump from the DNC, which she didn't get. She like got basically a point, so it's within the margin of error. She didn't get a bump from the DNC, which shocked everybody.
Yeah,
but again, first of all, you got to realize there's a 3-day lag on it, and then Trump gets a bump from Cheney endorsing Kamala, and I think the reason that made perfect sense to me, and I think that's why they've evened out. The reason that makes sense is now all the secret voters, the people who hate Trump but feel guilty voting for the other party, have been given permission to do so, because when Dick Cheney says you can do it, if you're a conservative, you can do it. So now they can be really vocal in their support of Trump. They can tell everybody they're going to vote for Trump, knowing fully securely that they can vote for Kamala instead, and they feel guilt-free about it because Cheney's given them permission. So I actually fully expected, instead of getting a whole bunch of conservatives saying, oh, if Cheney's voting for her, now I'm going to vote for her. No, you're going to get the opposite. Now they don't have to feel conflicted, and they don't have to say, well, Trump's got some issues, so I'm concerned. Now they can just, I love Trump,
Do you think this is going to actually get people into the voting booths? Or people are just going to be, can't be bothered. Yes, just stick of this farce.
I go ahead, Nick, because you're the American here, and then I want to talk about people who just don't vote in general, because I fucking hate you people.
I'm the American here, which means I am demonstrably, based on the evidence from the last 8 years, the craziest motherfucker of all of us. But at any rate, or at least statistically, that's probably true. What's the fucking question?
We can put that to a poll if you want. We can get a poll in the chat.
I do think we should get a poll in the chat. I will say, I think
I like Polish people. I agree. We need more Polish people in the chat.
And
I don't think we're going to see a huge spike in the number of people voting, and I don't think we're going to see a huge drop off. I think it's going to be a reasonably average year. It's not going to be an Obama year, which was a reasonably large spike, but even then it wasn't like over. I don't think we broke 60.
Do you think Taylor Swift's endorsement will encourage any young people that can't be bothered to actually vote?
Taylor Swift's endorsement, she linked to vote.com, which is a nonpartisan organization, and the link was tagged. So they know how many people she sent over. 400,000 people have registered to vote based on Taylor Swift's endorsement. 400,000 people have registered to vote.
And that's only just so far.
Yeah.
If she does a couple other little social media posts in here and there and blah, blah, between now and the day, that could double. And that's not small numbers when you consider how many Americans don't vote. I mean, it's...
Well, and they're arguing over the 20% middle. We talked about this before. So it's the 20% middle. So for that 20% middle of less than 50% of the population, 100,000 or 400,000 is a huge amount. And it's got to be all Dems. I don't think she's going to I don't think she's going to do much more. I think she was just really pissed at Trump for taking that image of her.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
it was
I think this was her revenge, and she'll.
Yeah.
I think she's done. But
one thing I know about Taylor Swift, and I don't know much about her, but if you scorn her, she doesn't forget. She writes songs about it and stuff and publishes them. I do not believe she will let this go. I think she is gonna throw a little bit more into the pot coming up, because
and it's also the reason why you're very careful not to piss her off.
Yeah.
I don't understand her outfits. Why the fuck does she always wear bathing suits? That's weird. But
you can't call her weird.
No, I said the action is weird. The outfits,
you
not her.
Still can't say it's weird. No, yeah, you still can't say it's weird.
Okay, it's strange.
She's on the left. You can't. There you go.
It's things that make you go,
There you go.
I hate that song. Why did I do that? Now it's going to be stuck in my fucking head.
She should dress up like a normal rock star, like Kiss. Because that's not weird.
Oh, yeah.
Or
as somebody who liked them in the 70s, it is funny when I look back now. Like, some of the songs I still listen to, but when I see them doing their whole thing in the outfits, I'm like, yeah, it's a little embarrassing.
I had a friend who was playing AC/DC and for his son, and his son was like, I really like this music. He goes, yeah. He goes, this is, this was at the time, it was like heavy metal. And he's like, so what did they look like? He goes, well, the singer looked like he was wearing a UPS uniform and like the shorts. And he's like, no way. He goes, yeah. He's like, well, that's what he wore, a short sleeve T-shirt. And he goes, no way. Sure enough. And then between that and the Village People, I think, yeah, Trump's got a point.
I always go back and think of the Village People and think to myself, what did they mean by fun and staying at the YMCA? Because of what I know about it through my middle 80s, late 80s, early 90s experience, it was sure fun for some.
Yes, Dick, I think that's what they meant.
There's a word that rhymes with fun. I'm just not going to say it.
Okay, here. I've got to do this one.
And now for something completely different.
This is the point, Nick, where you're supposed to say camel toes. for your desert towing needs.
I've always heard people talking about camels' feet, and I don't understand what the obsession is. I mean, the camels, they're adapted for the sand.
It's when a man pulls his Speedo so tight that one goes one way and one goes another, and you've got a clear separation. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't understand this camel reference that Dunk was talking about. I just okay.
I'll send you some pictures.
It's a joke that goes back so long now, I can't remember where it started.
Nobody knows where it started. It's one of those that just like around. I mean, I don't understand it, so just send along those photos. I'll get you my deal.
Yeah. It's in the New Testament somewhere. Yeah.
It's on the third tablet that he dropped coming down the hill.
Yeah, it's the story of Jesus and the camel toes. Yeah, it's a classic parable.
Yeah. Well, you have to take care of your camel's toe.
Yeah, it's like the guy who takes in the thorn out of the lion's foot. But
It's just like
just a bit bigger.
I think you need someone to explain the birds and the bees to you a little bit better, because I'm starting to think that you may be under some misapprehensions or misunderstandings about how the thing works.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should rerun that stinger again.
And now for something completely different.
See, I didn't say it.
Everything I was going to say would have just made it worse, so I just stopped.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, sometimes you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them,
Ooh.
What's that? What's his name? Who's the guy that did that? What?
I don't know. You asked me who was that? I don't know.
Yeah,
who he was. I don't know.
Kenny Rogers. That's it. Yeah, Michelle there. Yeah, got that. Yeah, Kenny Rogers. He did Dolly Parton song "Island in the Stream" as well. It was an early '80s hit on AM and FM. But that was his big song until "Islands in the Stream" was "The Gambler." That's what it's called.
The Gambler. Yeah. That's a good song.
It really is. It's a total story, the way that the devil went down to Georgia and Samar,
Yeah.
Love that song. I'm not 100% on the devil went down to Georgia part 2 when he had Johnny Cash and everybody in it singing as well and stuff. It's okay, but it's not the original.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like Meatloaf, which I'm sure you're a fan of as well. And the
food.
Got Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell. I mean, it was just an absolute classic. I think inducted into but it's not as good as the original. So I would agree with you completely.
It was not inducted into the annals of music history, but the annals of music history. Just let's get that clear. I can't stand that guy. Who the fuck calls themselves Meatloaf?
I was talking about the guy. I was talking about the music.
Yeah, but I can't stand that either, really. I'm not a fan.
That was a high school. Well, let me educate you on him, because I think
dear God,
as a musician, understand the history of Meatloaf. Now, you see, when he was in high school, and everybody wanted him to play football, but because he was built that way, that's a natural build, and they called him Meatloaf, and the name just stuck. So I don't think that you can How do you know this stuff?
What?
Never mind. Take another hit. Just take another hit. It was a bad joke that was going nowhere anyway. It just saved my ass.
Yeah, no, I know that for a lot of people, the first Bat Out of Hell record, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights and stuff, a big part of growing up in the late 70s into the 80s and whatnot. But for me, I didn't like it. It's not really my thing.
I did like it. One of the things I liked about it was that a lot of it was storytelling, and
I do like that
all
part.
the songs.
Yeah.
So Paradise by the Dashboard Light it's storytelling, and then it's they're all.
I like the girl better though.
So I do like that. Yeah, I mean,
she's better.
I just got a message from my phone provider saying, "Oh, you've now used 8% of your data."
Oh, that's
See how
funny.
long I can last.
Yeah, we got a super chat in from Joe Medley. Camel Toe by Matt Roosh. Indeed. Or was that indubitably? I'm not really sure how I should have responded on that one. We might have to do a take two. Okay, ready? We'll just roll it back here. 3, 2, 1. Indubitably. No, indeed. I don't know. Take your pick. Just roll back to the point you liked and then keep watching the show from there.
I'm just going to try, see if I just can get onto the normal Wi-Fi. It was working earlier and then it stopped working. And I'm going to see if it can come back. And if
Where
not,
are you? Like at a McDonald's hiding in the back or something?
Pretty much so. I'm outside sitting in the car.
Oh, okay.
Just don't want to keep people up all night. Hey,
Yeah.
hang on. I'll be back in a second.
All right.
All right. When he comes back, I'm probably going to bail.
Okay.
I was going to be like, I'm going to do 5 minutes of the after show, and then I was having fun, so I was like, I'm not going to leave, but I don't want to tell anyone I was having fun.
Well, it can't. It didn't work.
No. Don't mind. Carry on.
Okay. It won't be the latest after show in the world anyway, because I was informed just before the 42 show started that my son will be home tonight instead of not be home tonight. So I'll hang out with him this evening because tomorrow we're doing the Ukraine show and then we're doing Annette's fundraiser to help raise the pot of cash bigger to get her moved out of Tornado Alley and back to the West Coast areas. So big day. And
that fundraiser for her, I think that's a great idea because she's been through a lot. Holy smoke.
Oh, yeah. And the whole reason she is where she moved to is no longer because sadly her mother passed on and stuff. So it's time to go back home, right? It's time to go back and, do other things. Yeah. Keith in the chat, free Annette. That's funny. But yeah, that's what we're doing, right? So we're I think we're Ukraine update tomorrow from noon Pacific till like 1:45, and then there's a pause in between, and I think at like 2:30 or something we start the telethon fundraiser stream.
Nice. I certainly can't make the first one. I'll see if I can make the second one.
Yeah.
Second one. So,
yeah. There's a chance that the Ukraine show could be even shorter because if the telethon's going to be like a 5-6 hour stream and people popping in and out and having, just, hangouts and fun and whatnot, I'll be away from my son for quite a while. So the Ukraine show might be a bit shorter, but we'll see. He might end up taking off tomorrow with his mom to go for some blues party thing that's going on in another town close to me. So he might not even be here. She communicates about as well as like prehistoric fossils do. They just give little hints and you have to figure it out for yourself. That's probably a good analogy.
And it takes decades or even centuries before, you can actually compile the message and figure out what's being said.
Yeah. Because what you end up with is, it looks like rain erosion, but there's no historical context for it. So it's very hard to, date some of these things. Little Sphinx humor there for you.
It looks like she's smiling, but I've never seen her happy with anything in her life.
Exactly. That is, wow. Do you know her? What the hell?
No, he's danced with her.
Yeah. Well, he gave her $20 too.
Into her camel toes.
Yeah, that's funny because, I've made a lot of jokes in this show about exes and stuff, but that last one wasn't.
Well, I've had my fair share of exes that have tried to see a remarkable drop in blood pressure, preferably to 0.
Get a little bit stabby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, more than once. Or run ovary. That was another one.
Oh yeah. When you find yourself under the muffler, going, "Whoa, that was close," right? You know.
Oh, I was smarter than that. I was on the roof. She had a snub nose. She had a snub nose van. I make a joke about what would you do without me? So she locks me out. I was like, well, that's not nice. So I stand in front of the van because I think she's not really going to. Oops. Turns out that was not the wisest thing I've ever done. She hits the gas. I have to jump up onto the hood of this thing to keep from getting run over. But it's like a snub nose, so I'm barely holding on.
Yeah.
She accelerates. And I was like, oh shit, if I let go, I'm gonna die. This probably is not funny anymore. This is not worth the joke. I mean, I've paid more, I've invested more into this joke than I'm ever gonna get out of it. And then she hits the brakes. I go flying, bounce off the concrete, and then into a chain link fence and bounce off of that. Now I do something that's called being a man. And what that means is that I'm going to react with emotion and do something really stupid that I think is smart, as opposed to doing the smart thing. So I say, well, she's probably actually going to leave without me just to fucking prove the point. And I can't have that because we're out in the middle of nowhere. So she can't run. I got to go somewhere where she can't run me over, but I can stay with the roof. So I climb up on the nose of the van, up the windshield, and onto the roof. And now I'm on the roof, and I was just like,
giving it the full Tom Cruise, right? You know?
This was a good. No, I was lying down. I'm not brave. Okay, this wasn't a fucking movie. I was just like, I'm hanging on for dear life, but I'm like, at least, at least she's not. Yes,
I got to ask you at this point. I'm trying to boost my Twitter account. Have you got any video?
I don't. This was before. This was like I was in high school.
Oh, this is before video.
Yeah, this is before literally
before film.
So I'm sitting there going, at least the good news is she's not stupid enough to go out onto the freeway, and I'm thinking that as she's going out into the freeway. And so now I'm on the freeway. She's doing somewhere between 40 and 45 miles per hour. And I'm on the roof. And I was like, does she know I'm here?
No.
And by the way, we hadn't broken up yet. So
what she do next? Start shooting through the roof?
No, she slowed down to make a right turn. And this is you are now learning the real reason I never go without a coat. It was winter. I had a coat on. I said, okay, this is my only shot of surviving this. I took my jacket off and placed it over the windshield as she slowed down to make a turn. She stops the thing and can't see anymore. So I was just like, okay, I've gone from I'm about to get murdered to stalemate because she can't drive. But I can't get off this thing because she's in the middle of a turn. If I jump off, I'm going to get hit by the tail end of this fucker. So I'm sitting there going like, okay, at least we're in a stalemate. And then I feel her hand and she's rolled down the window and is trying to rip the coat off. So I say, okay, this is going to be another one of those either really brilliant things or really fucking stupid things.
I vote the latter.
Yeah, and start to climb in through the open window. In order to do this, I have to let go of the coat, which falls down. She sees her chance, hits the gas, and now I am climbing into the driver's side while she's accelerating into the turn. I come in, grab my coat, fall into the back where there's a bed, which admittedly was one of the reasons I found her interesting. I mean, she had a bed in her car. It's just like I'm sitting there going, like, what can you? She drives a van. I was like, of course you're going to date that if you can. But at any rate,
didn't work that way for me.
Yeah. So and then she said, "Wow, that was the most amazing thing you've ever done. I love you so much." And I said, I'm starting to question her sanity.
Starting.
I was in high school, like I said. Yeah, and that was before she was actually trying to cause me harm.
The moral of this story is always keep a rock in your pocket to break the fucking window with.
Yeah.
A piece of porcelain,
or don't date psychos.
Is that the tattoo thing? Is that where that comes from?
It is now. Yeah. So yeah, no, she wasn't the only one. The other one was the girl who broke her foot trying to kick down my door, which at least she was the one doing the stupid thing. I have a sordid history. I don't know what it is. A lot of women want to murder me. I think
animal.
Let's be a little more charitable. Let's be a little more charitable and say like it's the magnetism, and they think that it's like nobody can be around my man, and they get jealous, and it's not that funny, Dick. I mean, Jesus. I mean, why don't you just defend me a little more, humiliate me a little more on national, international, or whatever this thing is, however many subs you've got.
Not that many. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, this is a real lesson in people become who they are. They don't start that way.
That was actually one of the things she had always felt. I know this is going to come as a shock. She felt I was too stuck up, and so I know, right? I mean, she was crazy, and she was just like, "Wow, I didn't realize you're like this animal." I was like, "You need help. Here's a number of my friend. He's called Bellevue, and if you just give him a call, he'll take care of you."
Yeah. Love me jacket.
yeah.
Tag and bag. Next.
And like I said, she was the one who ended up breaking up with me. But again, in my defense, bed in the van. So it's just like,
Yeah, I've had a few crazies as well, but I married one of them. So, what time do we got? Okay, 1:13. Hour and 13 minutes. I count time differently when we're live. I probably have 15, 20 minutes before I better run and, get myself more in parenting mode again and whatnot.
I can do 15 minutes. I can stick around for 15 minutes. And
all right.
The only real reason I come on this show is because I know it annoys the shit out of dicks.
No, the only reason he's on the show is I promised to use our bot farm to get him a couple hundred subs after. So, oh, wait a minute. God damn it.
Don't even worry about it.
All right.
You meant the worm farm.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Because everybody likes fishing, right? There we go. Yoda Nick, I love this thing.
Sorry, I'm catching up on the live chat who seemed to think that this story was funny. It's like, yeah, Nick almost died. That's hilarious.
It is.
Thanks, I love the support.
Can you tell it again, but squeeze it into 60 seconds so I can put it out as a YouTube short?
I don't think I've ever been able to squeeze anything I've said into 60 seconds ever.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't have. Oh, there goes it was AT&T was like, sorry, you just used up all your minutes.
Well, his battery was getting low too. This voice chat service that we use, I have so much more control and ability than other services, right? And I can see.
Oh yeah, you have all the best. You have the best control and the best abilities.
Oh yeah. It never fails either. But this is the whole thing. If it could just be 100% reliable, I have so many toys and tools to make everybody the same volume and stuff and all that and whatnot.
I do the hard thing too. If I do that, do I get no? Oh, what a rip!
That's because you have a Microsoft operating system. I'm sorry, the answer was Apple.
Fuck off.
That's where it comes from. No, it's an Apple thing, right? If I do this, I get a thing. And if
Oh
I
yeah,
did
because
this,
I'm sure I can't find software on the internet to emulate because
but I don't have to. It's built in. As the old guy said, it just works. Actually, it doesn't. It fucks with me all the time. There was a time years ago in the early days of Mac OS 10, as we call it, the X, Mac OS or whatever. And it was really strong and solid and reliable. And that's not quite the case anymore. But I still prefer it. It's just one of those things.
I actually preferred it for a very long time. And then I forget why I ended up having to switch to Windows, but I thought it would be brief. And then I ended up getting stuck there. Also, I was a computer tech support guy for a while too. And it's like, okay, that's... if you're a tech support guy, you're going to be in Windows.
Yeah. I did tech support for a bit, and I did switch to Windows as well. Like when we first met and the Shills was first starting, it was all PC because Apple was doing that thing at the time where they were pushing the thermal limits. So some of the computers were a little bit throttled down, not cool. And they also had this fight with NVIDIA over graphics from like 2015, and they would not let it go. And Apple always had inferior, shittier graphics. And that matters when you're doing what we're doing. There's all kinds of shit rendering and whatnot. I don't really play much.
Yeah, I didn't used to. I don't know when I really started in gaming, but I didn't game. I've always been a gamer, but not so much that I cared about the graphics card. And then when I started streaming, and then I had to get a good graphics card anyway. And then I played some of the games I used to play, but with a real graphics card. And I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah,
that difference is not negligible. I was like, I can see why a real gamer would lay down $300 for a,
oh yeah, and in today's world, like you can go and get yourself a modern Xbox, PS5, whatever, and you get some badass looking gaming. But go and spend like $2,000 on an NVIDIA RTX 4090 titanium or whatever, and you will see another level of graphic quality like you've never thought possible. It's unbelievable.
They're already coming out with the 5090s.
I know. I've been seeing the rumors and looking at the tech. I'm like, that's literally what I do with coffee in the morning is look at tech news, right? That's what I've done for years and years, But
I was somebody brought in a computer that they said wouldn't turn on, and we're having problems. And it's every techie's worst fucking nightmare when they say, oh, my computer's not working. It's like, that could mean a million things. My computer's not turning on. That could mean a million things. Do you mean you hit the power button and nothing happens? Do you mean you hit the power button and the screen lights up but nothing happens? You mean you're getting the thing? Does it post? Does it not post? What the hell's going on? So, I open it up before I even bother. I just make sure, okay. So I plug it in, open it up, and it's got a liquid cooling system. And it's like, that's a little odd for somebody who doesn't know, they can't explain what the problem is, but it's got a liquid cooling system. And turn the thing on. And I notice, just as I'm turning it on, that the coolant is running right over the graphics card. I mean, right over the GPU.
And you don't mean like a tube is over it, but the liquid is. Yes. Oh, okay.
No, the tube. But the tube. It had melted, and then this little flame just goes right across the graphics card. I was just like, turn it off. It's like, I think I found the problem.
Wow. That's one of those things where you know enough to be dangerous, and somebody built that for them and had no idea how to do it properly, right? Yeah.
When I used to build the computers, I would always lock the BIOS and not tell them the password when I was. And then what would happen is, invariably I'd get a call from somebody, and they'd be like, "Oh, my BIOS is locked." It's like, I was trying to get in there. I was like, "Why are you trying to get in there?" And like, oh, well, I don't know. I just wanted to look at it and see what it's like. I was just like, no, nobody has ever said that about a BIOS. If you know what the BIOS is, then you already have something in mind. And I already know probably what it is.
If you get your dumbass in there fucking around, you're going to call me back and I'm going to have to fix it.
Which is what happened. I finally had to give him the password. And I was like, if you break something, I'm not going to pay for the fixing. And then like 2 weeks later, he comes back and not 2 weeks later. Sorry. It was about 4 days later. He comes back and he's like, the thing's not working. You gave me a bad build. And he literally fucking said that. I was like, you sure? He goes, oh yeah. No, you gave me a bad build. And I go look and he'd been trying to overclock the thing and just screwed up everything. The good news, he didn't blow any components. I reset the BIOS, turned it on, and said, oh, it seems to be fine. He's like, oh, all the settings are gone. I was like, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Because somebody fucking around where I told him not to.
Yeah, you can't go and watch one Jay's 2 cents video and think you figured out overclocking, you stupid fucking womble.
I used to drink pretty heavily. And I learned how to seat memory cards while drinking. So it got to the point where unless I was rezapping the bag, I couldn't see the memory card. Yeah. And I could do everything else. It was the memory card and the CPU. I couldn't see them. It was just one of those like, okay, I'm building these things. I was like, oh shit, it's time to get to the memory. I was like, I'm gonna need just a shot of whiskey, and then I think I could probably do it. Yeah.
About 3 months ago now, I did a complete restoration of a Commodore 64 with a tape deck and a 1542 whatever it is, floppy disk drive and stuff for a guy. And he got a hold of me. And he was like, hey, I hear through the grapevine that you're really good at this. I said, I don't know about really good, but I can sure do it for you. And I tell him it's going to be, $600 to refurbish this stuff entirely and make it so it's like you're going to get years of usage and all blah, blah. Oh, my God, why? And I just gave him a few links. I said, here, go and watch these YouTube videos. But I pick ones where the guy cuts in and goes, okay, so 2 hours later, I'm done that job. Okay, 3 hours later, I'm done that job, right? That's what I do. But I'm not going to do it for $12 an hour or something, I'd rather just be with my son. Fuck you, I charge.
Your time's valuable if you're not getting paid what it's worth. Better to be doing something else.
Yeah.
If we had more time, I'd tell you a story on game design, because I was doing some game development for a little while too. And some teacher called and said, oh, I want you to, so you build games. I said, yeah. He goes, I got a game. I was hoping you could build it for me. And that story's too long. I'll save it for later. The only other one I guess I will tell is people were starting to build their MMO emulators for like World of Warcraft. UO was the big one, and Hero Engine had come out, as had an MMO. Something that was supposed to help make it so that teams could develop MMOs faster, and it was actually free. What they licensed was the servers that were actually, and so like there was a team of guys looking at this, and they had decided the MMO that they were going to build, and they had done a decent job with the rules and how NPCs were going to work and how all this was going to go. And they're like, we kind of wanted you to be a consult on this. I said, sure. I was like, but do you have any idea just how much work is involved in this? They're like, oh yeah, we do. I was like, oh no, you answered that too quickly. I was like, when somebody answers that quickly, I said, this requires. Yeah. I said, look, if I had 2 full-time programmers using this software, I could build roughly the shell of what you're talking about that would be in a very good beta, in about a year, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah. And he's
Like,
thinking,
no, but this does it all for you.
Yeah.
Oh no, this was like 5 or 6 guys. But they're all only going to work on it part time.
Right.
And none of them know anything about like scripting or programming. Like, well, you don't really need to know those things. So it's just like, oh God, like,
Yeah.
oh, well, could you at least help us with the setup? I was just like, okay, I will help you get it so that it's running. But this isn't. And they were getting really pissed at me because I was just like, no, I'm not going to get involved. Like, with your help, we can do it in a couple months. I was like,
no, you can't.
So then he goes, okay. So he goes, I guess I have a question here is, it says here that you need to insert the number for the address for your server. And I said, yeah. And they're like, well, we don't know what that is. I was like, okay, type in the following 127.0.0.1. They type that in, boom, it works. And like, oh, it's connected to the software because they're running it on the same machine.
Yeah.
And I was like, and they're like, what does that number mean? And I was just like, okay, that's like literally saying
10 years.
I was just like, that's like saying, I want to write a book as long as War and Peace. I know a little English, but there's a word that I have trouble with. The word is I.
Yeah.
What does that word mean? Is that an important word in the English language?
Yeah. You want to recreate this moment? Give a 7-year-old the keys to a Ferrari Testarossa.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. You just told the same joke in 5 seconds. And it took me it was, and I'm just sitting there going, I will never help any of you ever again. I was like, between everybody in this room, nobody knew the answer, what that number means. And this was just a setup file to get the fucking server running. And they're going to script the whole thing in Python.
Yeah, that's that.
And the clients that are going to connect to network, like you can't even get it to. Oh dear. Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
you're going to need a big box of tea. Oh my gosh.
And I can't begrudge them. I've been there too, because it's like you it's the Dunning-Kruger, right? You think it's easy until you try.
Yeah.
And other people make it look easy too. Anyone who's good at something makes it look easy.
But I knew what an IP address was, before I had the chance to actually use one, to be honest. I was a hardcore BBS guy way back when and whatnot. So, oh, yeah.
I remember, hey, listen, I could tell what speed I could tell. Like, it's like, okay, we connected at 4,200. Oh, shit, it just negotiated down. Oh, it negotiated down again. Oh, okay. We're there at
did you ever
2,800 baud.
Did you ever do any freaking to get some free long distance to get to BBSs and stuff? I didn't.
I knew how.
I did.
Because there's something called the federal government.
Yeah.
And
we're not scared of them in Canada.
Yeah. I'm scared of them in the US. I'm a little more scared of them if Trump gets elected. They're going to be more incompetent, but far more scary. No, I learned how because I found it fascinating, and I found the social engineering fascinating too.
The whole story of Captain Crunch figuring out the tone of the whistle was the way to get into the command structure of the telephone system. It's a brilliant story. It's awesome.
Oh, I was talking to a guy who wrote a book on social engineering, so social hacks. And he's just like, one of his favorite moves was go call up and right as the company's starting, like right at 9 a.m., just as there's go call up maintenance. And when they pick up, say, oh, I'm sorry, I was trying to reach, call HR, and then say, I'm sorry, I was trying to reach maintenance or tech support. Like, oh, okay, we'll connect you. Boom, they connect you. Now it looks as if the call is coming from inside the building.
Exactly.
So it doesn't look like it's an outside line. So they pick up and then you say, hi, I'm in HR and my computer won't turn on. And you do the it won't turn on thing. And they're like, well, what have you done? It's like, well, it says password. And I don't know what, it's like, okay, well, we'll reset your password. Here you go. This is the new password. Try not to,
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Boom.
Yeah.
You just then you go in.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just like, I'm not gonna. Are we friends? Do you like me? He's like, yeah, you're a cool guy. I was like, okay.
I loved the days of early, like you know the scene in War Games when Matthew Broderick is sniffing around town looking for computers to connect to and stuff. I actually did that, looking for systems to connect to. Oh yeah.
No, I didn't have the. I didn't want to do that.
There was no call display or anything back then. It didn't matter, What are the odds? Right?
It just wasn't. I don't know the difference in our ages. I may have just not been curious about what the random stuff was out there. I was,
Yeah, Chris Lundy in the chat says I used a ward dialer frequently. Exactly. That's what it's called, ward dialing. We even used to do it where in the early days of Wi-Fi access, when only like very few people had it in their homes, we'd get in a car with an old laptop with some Linux boot disk in it that had all kinds of hacking stuff and fuck with people. That was great fun, man. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say one other thing, and then I really do need to go.
We called that war driving. Yeah.
I did not know this. I found this out, and then Lance and I ended up doing a show on the several times that this has happened. Because I found this out, and then I called Lance and because I knew he must know. I said, "Did you know this?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, tell me what happened." War Games is based on a real thing. That actually fucking happened.
Wow.
That actually fucking happened. And it wasn't that somebody had called in, but what happened was they would do missile drills, and they had the old reel tapes, right? So that would spin, and they'd have to switch them out to ones that would show Russia attacking the U.S. And after they did a drill, they didn't switch them back.
Oh my God.
To regular machines and so on and so forth. So then 2 or 3 days later, and they rotate machines, when they rotated this one in,
bunch of fucking terminal
NORAD gets yeah. So the entire US goes to DEFCON 1.
Wow.
And like nobody knows. This I think it was the New York Times picked up on this like a year later, but basically, the entire U.S. goes to DEFCON 1. The missiles are basically coming, and it's the presidential chief of staff now. It's gotten to him. He's getting the call from NORAD, and they said, you have to wait to the president, and he's going to have to make a decision as to whether or not we're going to retaliate. And he says, listen, there's been no reason for this. He goes, this is a full-out attack? They said, yes. He goes, is there any chance this is a simulation? He said, no, we've checked everything. He's like, okay. At some point, it's going to have to go over Andrews Air Force Base. Is that correct? Is that the closest? He said, yes. He goes, wait until Andrews Air Force Base gets it on radar. As soon as they have it on radar, I'm waking the president. They're like, okay, by that point, you're going to have about a minute and a half to respond. He goes, I know. He goes, I'm waiting outside the door. Tell me when what is it? Andrews Air Force Base gets it on radar. And so they're talking to Andrews Air Force Base, and they're like, okay, could you check your radar for a couple of hundred intercontinental?
Yeah. Can you imagine the person on the other end? Could you say that again? Like what's his name in Independence Day,
Yeah. I can't even imagine just how you have that conversation.
Yeah, like, dude shat his pants, pissed his leg, and then got up and told everybody, we're now looking for incoming ballistics.
Yeah, he was like, listen, is everything on your radar? Just wondering. And so basically, it passes the point at which they would have had it. Yeah. And so, they figured out that they hadn't done the thing, and apparently this has happened in the U.S. twice and in Russia 3 times.
Oh, that's even scarier because those I didn't
know. I knew not. Ask someday if you decide you never want to sleep again. Ask Lance to tell you these stories.
Oh my God! We might have to do a special. Commander McMillan walks us through days the Earth almost died.
Yeah. And I mean, thank God you're sitting there going, okay, so it was the chief of staff who basically prevented the end of the world by just using his brain for 5 minutes.
Thank God somebody had fucking sense, you know?
And they pay tribute to that. So War Games was based on that, and they decided to add in all the extra stuff. But like the one where the guy's like, you know, who's first and how soon. That's essentially what the chief of staff said. He's just like, and the chief of staff figured out it would have to go. The missiles would have to actually fly over Andrews Air Force Base in order to hit any targets in this. So he goes, go to Andrews.
Somebody with a protractor in that room working a map hard. Right?
I don't know, Andre. You can look it up, and I want to look it up. And it was like 2 a.m. in the morning. So we've had two. Twice we have mistaken a test for the real thing. Lance says it's believed 3 times in Russia. One of those times, the order was given to counterattack, and the generals ignored it.
Wow. Well, this reminds me of the show we had on Saturday. I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or something, when Jake Bro was over. And Jake Bro, the YouTuber, he was one of the silo employees that would have had to turn a fucking key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So aren't you guys glad that you guys just like, so this is, I'm going to be, I think what's going to happen next time you announce that I'm going to be guest hosting, they're going to be like, no, you know, that was interesting shit, but I didn't sleep for a week the last time they had Nick on. I was just like talking about.
That is pure bullshit. Tell them in the chat, everybody. We broke 100 viewers on both shows. No problem. The viewers want more Nick.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that actually worked without it being a euphemism for once. They want more Nick.
Well, thank you very much. It's always a blast to be here. You know, I was telling you this earlier. It was a long day for me.
Yes, it was.
It was actually a very difficult day as well. So one of the things I love about coming on here is I get to unwind. I get to make fun of you. I get to make fun of Drunk. I get to tell true things about Dave. So it's just like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So let's see here. Tomorrow, we've got the Ukraine update show, noon Pacific. After that, starting, I think it's about 2:30, we've got the fundraiser for Annette to send her from one side of hell to a really nice place to be. We've got to get it done ASAP would be better for her because, you know, there's that whole, I think there's a fall, tornado and nasty season that's going to kick in soon. Isn't that how it works? Right.
Yeah, it's probably. I would imagine it's the height of. I think she's in Tornado Alley, and it's like 2 hits in 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah. I think she needs to get the hell out of there. That's God's way of saying your address is wrong.
She's had to hide in the basement like I think 13 times or something in like a year and a half, a year and 3/4. That might even be a low count. It's ridiculous. Why the fuck do you people even like not her? But the other people that stay there, why do you live there? Why don't you like dig holes like badgers and live underground? You know,
there's a lot of sense to that argument. Having said that, it's like you kind of got to pick your poison, right? I lived in California for a little while. They don't have seasons in California, which, first of all, for a New Englander,
that's weird.
The weather is boring as hell. And it's just like, it was 62 degrees out and a woman had this fur coat on. And I'm just like, fur coat, 62 degrees.
Wow.
And then I realized they do have seasons. They have fire season, which is followed by mudslide season. These are the seasons. You can't get mudslides until you get the fires. The fires kill all the plants
root
and everything.
Structure that holds.
Bingo. Right? So you get fire season, then you get mudslide season, then you get wind season, which is really crazy because the air in the wind is hotter than the ambient temperature. So
that's
you feel
helpful.
like you're in a convection oven.
Yeah, exactly.
The Santa Ana winds.
Yeah.
You
You feel like the Colonel's chicken, right? You know,
and so okay. So California's got it's. So I'm sitting there going, okay, where I live, we get blizzards and we get nor'easters. I know exactly how to deal with both. I've been with both in my entire life. I ain't going anywhere. I don't want to have to deal with other problems. Sometimes a roof will collapse. Sometimes, you're going to have problems wherever you live. So
yeah.
And earthquake season. Thank you. That was the other one. I forgot earthquake season. I knew I was missing one. It's earthquake season. And that's fun. I remember my first earthquake and I'm sitting there going, holy shit, that was an earthquake. So I run outside and everybody's just like walking the dog and doing this. Nobody gives a shit. I was just like, guys, the ground fucking moved. I don't think my house is in the same spot it was. It's not by far, but it's like an inch. Everything just moved an inch to the right.
I didn't realize my garage was a trapezoid. What the fuck's going on here?
And they're just like, nobody's like, anything. I was just like, okay, I'm going to go home.
Yeah, no, I live in the West Coast, but in a spot where we don't really do earthquakes because it's not our style, right? So, we're not into that. We just, we leave that to other people and it kind of, stays away from us. Then it works well. And we've got lovely hills and lakes and all this stuff going on. And the only problem is it's priced like Monaco.
What you'd expect given the way you've just described it.
Yeah. As soon as I go to the hills, it's orchards and vineyards and stuff. Like it's really, really, but it's, priced like Monaco.
San Francisco, I loved, and that's expensive too. But there are actually areas in the redwoods out there that are reasonably inexpensive, and it's like I love the fog in the morning. It's like you can't see shit, but you know what? It's almost like it's basically like weather. I'm like, wow, weather in California. You wake up and and in the fog you can watch it roll in, watch it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it's great where I am because we get winter, but it's light. It's not, like. I don't really need to own a shovel very often. It works out for everyone. Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I remember the blizzard of '78, and that a lot of people, the only way they could get out of their house was through their second floor balcony. And there are pictures where you can actually see somebody holding a door open. Like, why is there a guardrail on their front porch? And like, that's not their front porch. That's their second floor porch. And the door is the snow is up to it such that it looks like, and the roads are tunnels. It's like you're in a maze. The roads have walls to them. It's just like, and I've seen it get that bad on occasion around here. That was 78 and the snow drifts, and we've had a few. But it's fine. It's fine.
I remember going to Crater Lake in Oregon in winter when I was younger with my folks, and the tunnel they had to dig through the snow to get you through the road, it looked like it was the White Cliffs of Dover on either side to me. It was wild. I loved that place. That was really cool. But we're getting to that point where I got to start and so let's give a big shout out to the team again. Annette, who runs all the teams and stuff. BJ CNET, our news hound supreme, who's still but his recovery's going well. I mean, when you have a run-in with a female Bigfoot and she bites off your digit, but it's cold enough so that the doctors could sew it on, and you're back home in like 7 days and getting around the house cooking eggs and stuff, I'd say that's really good. So everybody give PJ a big shout out there. We got Shayna Caldwell, Crazy Cat, Chris Lundy, Liam Wakefield, Super Chat, Matt, and NA as well. So thanks, everybody. What do you think, Nick? You got any good consumer advice for people as we go?
I have one piece of advice, and I say this half the time when I'm on the show, more than half the time. Dick and I have talked about this all the time. We hate shilling ourselves. Every content creator hates shilling themselves. So I'm going to say it for Dick. Like and subscribe. And we don't fucking say this because we all hate saying it. I hate saying it. I don't mind saying it on other people's channel. I hate saying it on my own. The reason we do it, is because it actually does help. It really does. And someday when you want to get bored to death, if you're feeling suicidal and you don't want to call one of those helplines, call Dick or myself and we will explain to you the YouTube algorithm. And you'll believe me. Or let me say this, if you're not feeling suicidal and you want to, then we'll explain how and why it
exactly.
helps.
If you need that push off the bridge, not that shit John Bon Jovi did, but actually, we're here for you, right?
Yeah. So we never get into it, but it actually, the reason every fucking content creator says it, and you all hate to hear it, and we hate to say it, is because it helps. So hit those buttons. Hit the buttons.
Good call, dude. Thank you very much.
It's a good thing to do. My pleasure.
And thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for both the Ukraine show and a really cool fundraiser day where we're just going to be inviting people. They'll be popping in and out. You never know what's going to go on, but it's going to have drunkenness and debauchery. I promise you that. See you tomorrow, everybody.
Well,
keep your stick on the ice.